Hello everybody, I'm SJM. Welcome to my Act 1 recap, learnings, and build progression diary thingy. We'll check this out. So, all in all, it took me, a little over, well, pretty much exactly 10 hours because I've been idling and doing stuff in the Act 2 town here for maybe 10 minutes or so. So, pretty much straight on 10 hours to get through the first act, and 54 deaths, of which a solid, I don't know, 60% of those deaths, so say like almost 40 of those deaths were in the cemetery area fighting the... Oh, where is... Act 1. Here we are. The husband and wife duo. So the consort and the praetor. The big reason there, and the big learning takeaway I have from the from Act 1 was you need a damage projection skill. You have to be able to do damage at range. Otherwise, you're going to be really dead in the water against some of these bosses out there. Maybe that's for me as a casual player for sure. Maybe people that are a lot better at gaming can get by, but definitely not me. So we'll take a look. Originally, the plan was to use the Falling Thunder all the way through, and I'm fairly happy with this. I can give it a solid B as a skill. It is fairly slow as an attack because the attack speed on it is 60% of our base. So when we do the attack, he takes his sweet ass time doing the sweet spinny flippy thing before he lands down. So it's a little bit of a learning curve to get used to it, and it can be, pretty disconcerting when you start getting surrounded by a bunch of guys because you can't attack fast with your main attack skill. And my second skill was Frozen Locust at the time, which basically just puts you get a little flip back, so learning how to use that in itself was a learning experience. But this was going to be my, freeze skill, or to slow down enemies and be able to maneuver around. And out there, I never found myself using it against any, trash mobs. In the acts, I only used it against the bosses to try and get freeze on them, and it worked horribly for that use. I found later, when I got really frustrated with the couple there in the cemetery, that I went and started watching somebody and found them using Glacial Cascade. This is a much better skill to use for your damage projection, but you just need to get used to where the damage sweet spot is, which is at the end of the attack, out here. As for links on my skills, pretty much this is just 50 IQ stuff here, like nothing too spectacular, just more damage. So extra damage, lightning damage, at the cost of cold and fire damage, so that just means that on your gear, so if instead of physical damage here we had lightning or cold damage or fire damage, it's going to be a lot less effective with using the Falling Thunder. So you really want to focus on
thunderous demise,
physical damage. And then I got a little bit of additional lightning damage on this current weapon right now. The second one is Enervate. So I'm now at this point reliably shocking a lot of damages, so this will give me an extra 35% boost for a couple of seconds, which helps me, clear off the rest of the pack or a tough enemy. Maybe even like enemies that summon minions. This is really good against those kinds of guys because you can really get a lot of extra damage there. And then Falling Thunder, of course, is a power charge consumer. So we need a generator, and that is Killing Palm. this has been a real pleasant surprise because it makes like the last 5% of the boss fights a moot point, right? As soon as you see the little icon pop up for the cull, you hit your killing palm and then you just kill the boss. And obviously the other interaction is when you're going through the maps and stuff. This is the early on, this is the only way we have of generating power charges, so we just have that. And on here I've got the profusion support there, just 50% chance to get 2 power charges instead of 1. And then Glacial Cascade, like originally was on Frozen Locust, was Glaciation. And then because I was using this as became like my main use skill in boss fights, we added a little bit of extra damage on there just to have that out on the end. So the next big learning point was in the skill tree, which we learned how to use our weapon set bonuses, or weapon set setups, I guess to say. Basically, you can use one of your skill points to allocate 2 different nodes on the tree. And the way I did it here, so for my Locust slash Glacial Cascade, I have it on my weapon set 2, and that's this where these green lines go. So I have it over here doing freeze, build up, because that's basically what I want to use the ice spells for. And then for my lightning weapon, I went up this way and used 3 of the points, because we got 4. You get 2 sets of 2 in the first chapter there to spend on these, so we went up here. So technically, I could have 4 extra skill points along the main and be getting towards my, big power move here, or power notable. But I chose this just for a little bit of utility because the way I'm building this skill tree is definitely very suboptimal. The big power spikes that you get in Path of Exile usually come from the notables. And it's almost always advisable to pick up as many of these as you can. Like other more experienced skill trees I see, they come down this way for the attacks, and they've got all 3 of these notables, right away, which you can get, all of those within the first 12 to 15 levels, where here I am, all the way, what level am I now? 17, and I have 1 notable, really. 3 if you include my side branches, but the one main notable I got was just this one here for the move speed was the big one we wanted there, right? And then doing lots and lots of traveling. So I've got lots of good stats. I don't have to worry about equipping my equipment, and my hit chances is very nice because we're focusing on dexterity around here, and then every so often I'll bring up my character screen and look, my dexterity is getting way above my intelligence, so I'll keep popping a couple into intelligence, because you pretty much want a 60-40 or a 65-35 mix between dex and intelligence, I think, if you're going elemental attack based monk. So just as long as we keep that in mind there. Do these have... Yeah. So if you want to double check, just make sure that you're watching your damage here. If this accuracy rating isn't at 100%, you need more dex, or you need to find accuracy on gear. So just make sure that you're paying attention here as well if you are trying to be greedy and get more intelligence, or maybe you found some really good intelligence-based gear and you need to pump that up to be able to use it. I think that's it for the video. Yeah, basically a 1-button build. I'm only using Falling Thunder all of the time. And then when we get to boss fights, we're just using Glacial Cascade. Actually, it's a 2-button build because we have to use Killing Palm to generate the power charges for the Falling Thunder. Obviously, that means in some boss fights, if they don't have ads, then Falling Thunder becomes really suboptimal, right? You're not doing any of that extra juicy more damage, because the projectiles, when you have the power charges, you get 2 extra instances of more damage. So you get 100% more damage, which is a 2 times multiplier on your damage, and an extra 25% on top of that again. So that's like 2.5 times damage when you do have a power charge. So bosses with adds, it's really good to, you know, get a power charge here and there and be able to go in there and do some big damage on them when the timing is right, I guess. And yeah, you know, 3 projectiles per power charge, so you can really get a lot of overlapping damage if you get it timed right. So I'm, you know, overall pretty happy with Falling Thunder. Just you know, the slow attack time and getting used to using it is really good. As for my buff skill, I did go with the Herald of Thunder. I think this is a pretty much no-brainer because you get, you know, lightning bolts on the next 2 attack hits every time you shock an enemy. And because I get a pretty reliable shock now with the way my tree's set up, that this is happening quite often, and it's really satisfying to see a big pack go down with the combination of a power charge buffed Falling Thunder along with the Herald of Thunder lightning bolts proccing all over the place. Do note that you can support your buff skills with no additional cost to the spirit. So it's also a no-brainer to be putting points into here. In fact, one thing that I haven't tried that I picked up on today watching other people's build guides is that there's a support gem called Martial Mastery or something that gives you 25 extra attack speed, which might be better in here. Like, we might want to use that over the Innervate because that'll speed up that animation and might make things a lot smoother. I will try that out here in Act 2 because I've got, you know, being a very low skill number of skills base, I've got lots of these extra gems lying around to try things. So I've got 3 extra support gems here to try the Martial Tempo. This is the one. So 25% more attack speed, so that'll definitely get us attacking a lot faster. So we'll try that at some point in there on our Falling Thunder, and possibly even the Glacial Cascade. Like, we can socket it in and out as we see fit. You know, if we're going into a boss fight, we can move it over to the Glacial Cascade just to have that that better, smoother, more attack. But the Cascade's pretty good, right? Get out quite a few of them pretty quickly as opposed to the big slow attack of the Falling Thunder. Anyways, I've rambled on enough here. Now that we're into Act 2, I have changed over to my Lord of Ogham MTX because we've finally killed the Lord of Ogham, so we now have all the fancy stuffs and things, as well as our baby Crowbell. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Appreciate you all for checking it out, and we'll see you in the next one.